The Thrivehood Podcast is a relevant life roadmap for boys and young men who want to thrive as they mature into manhood. I'll be your host, Tim Williams, and welcome to Thrivehood. Hey guys, welcome back to the Thrivehood Podcast. Hey, do me a favor, leave me some reviews, some 5-star reviews would be great, of course. Auto download my podcast, subscribe and auto download the episodes. I would appreciate that. That helps me quite a bit, and we are off and running. Let me also make a note here. If you're listening to this particular episode through headphones, you might hear a little reverb, a little echo. I'm in the process of building a studio specifically for my podcast, and I'm not quite done getting the soundproofing done, so you might hear a little bit of an echo, reverb sort of thing, so just bear with me. I want to give you good quality, good sound, and we will make that good for you. Just bear with us as we move forward. So today, I was not planning on doing a episode 2 or a part 2 of Defining Moments, but a couple of things took place this last week that, man, it just begged for me to do this, and so I'm going to do it. I want to take a little bit of time and talk about that. Really, the best way I can describe this is there was an event that took place. There were 2 events that took place that, when we talk about defining moments, literally the results are on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as the results of in this case, it was an individual. In the other case, it was a team that had a defining moment, and how it turned out was completely different. And I thought, what a great example to bring to you young guys and to show and to explain to you in real life what defining moments look like. So in order to end on a positive note, I want to start off with the negative. And I'm sorry, I should preface this. If you have not listened to last week's episode about defining moments, talking about Derrick Henry and the Titans, would you stop right here, go and listen to that, because I think that will help put context to what I'm talking about today. I think it would help you. So if you do that, I think that's good. Okay, we talked last week about Derrick Henry broke his foot, out for maybe the entire season. The Tennessee Titans football team, their offense is completely geared around Derrick Henry. And I posed the question, what on earth are these dudes going to do without King Henry? Because, man, they really need him. And so we'll talk a little bit about the results of that, because they had a game Sunday night, this last Sunday night, and they had a defining moment. And I'll share that with you for a little bit. But also, a story broke Wednesday morning of an event that took place, a sad situation that took place. There's a football player by the name of Henry Riggins III. He is the wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, he was. I don't know that he is anymore, and I'll explain that in a minute. 22-year-old young man. On Tuesday, November 2nd, at about 3:30, 3:40 in the morning, he slammed his brand new Corvette into the back end of another vehicle that killed at least one person that we know of. I think that is the latest information that I got seems to suggest that it's only one person that died. They clocked based on the accident and the damage that was done, they clocked him at doing 156 miles an hour whenever he hit this other vehicle. The Toyota that he hit burst into flames almost immediately. The firemen and police and everybody showed up, and they were able to get the body out, but they said that the individual, I think it was a woman, they were pretty sure she was already dead before the fire ever even broke out. So basically, she probably died instantly from the accident. So here's what you need to know. I am by no means a person that knows much law at all, but basically what I was reading, and the reports say, that a DUI resulting in a death is definitely considered a felony, and that there are strong chances that he can be charged with a DUI charge as well as a vehicular homicide charge. So he actually could walk away with 2 felony charges before this is all said and done. Again, this will take weeks and months before they figure all this out. But if he is charged and then if he is convicted based on the laws in the state of Nevada, he could serve anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison. Now, the NFL has not said anything. There's speculation on what they might do, but again, the NFL has to sort of manage each individual situation on its own. They can't. They can't really. We can't really speculate right now as far as what they're going to do. And what I mean by that is I don't mean like, well, they're thinking about whether or not they're going to still let him be a player. That's not what I'm talking about. Those days are over. What I'm talking about is, are they basically just going to nix him from the NFL organization altogether, the industry, or will they pay him through the end of the year, and then cut him loose, or who knows? I don't know how all that's handled. And of course, you've got the team, the Raiders themselves. They have to figure out how they're going to manage this as well. So here is what is amazing about this story. We have a 22-year-old young man who's got the wind at his back. He's got a future brighter than most people in this world will ever see, right? He has gotten into the NFL. He succeeded in getting himself into one of the most difficult positions as far as a job is concerned that anybody could ever have. And yet this young man, in a defining moment, decided to throw it all away. The defining moment was Monday night or Monday, or at some point, maybe it was Tuesday morning. He made a conscious decision to get wasted. That's just the reality. I'm not trying to be mean or hard. I'm really not. But that's the truth. He made a conscious decision to do something that was possibly, and now as we look back, absolutely, factually, changed or altered his life forever. He didn't make a defining moment when he got into his car to drive. It wasn't a defining moment when he went 100 and decided to push the pedal to the metal and get to 156 miles an hour. It wasn't a defining moment when he slammed into the car, or when the lady died, or when everything burst to flames, or when he got thrown in jail. Or none of that was the defining moment. Those were all the after effects of the defining moment. Those were all the consequences. And now, beyond that, his NFL career is over. There's no question about that. Any sponsorships that he had or anything that was pending, those days are over. But what else? How about the shame? How about the guilt? How about that your record, his record, will always have someone died at his hand, okay? I can't imagine the shame that he brings, not to himself, but to his family. I can't imagine the guilt that he's dealing with because of all this. I am by no means slamming this guy. It may sound like I am. I'm using this as a textbook example of what happens when we are in a defining moment and we choose the wrong path. He chose the wrong path, guys. There's no question about it. He made a conscious decision, regardless of the reason. I don't know. Maybe he got some bad news. Maybe there was something that came down the pike that we don't know about. Maybe that'll come out later. But that doesn't give him the right to take another life. It just doesn't. And I know this is heavy, but I want to show you when a defining moment is used for the wrong reasons and the wrong decision is made. This is the result. 2 to 20 years of his life will be gone. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get charged with this. It's almost a foregone conclusion. But we have to understand, and we have to see this. He was in a defining moment, and this is the result of that. And you can say, well, Tim, he might come out of this and he might make good, and down the line he might be able to, maybe he'll be able to give some type of contribution to society. That's all well and good. And listen, I hope so. Don't misunderstand me. I hope so. But as you guys know, if you've listened to my podcasts, why add more challenge and stress and pain and sorrow and grief and disappointment to your life than you need to, right? It's already a challenge. Life is already going to be hard. Man, he's just added more to it than was necessary. So that is on one end of the spectrum of what it's like when we make a decision in a defining moment that probably wasn't the best move. Now, let me end this on a quick follow-up to last week because I want to end it on a positive note. Last week, I had asked the question, are the Titans in this defining moment going to be able to pull out what a lot of people felt like was almost impossible? They were going to SoFi Stadium. They were going to play the Rams. The Rams are a good team. Listen, if you're a Rams fan, I have nothing but love for you, man. I get it. You know, LA, they're on their way. Rams are on their way. But oh my gosh, you talk about a complete reversal from the story I just gave you as far as a defining moment. This team walked into SoFi and acted like they owned the place. They were amazing. The defense played out of its mind. Almost like they were possessed or something. They were incredible. The offense sputtered some, struggled a little bit. I can't say that they were fantastic, but they did what they needed to do, right? They got in there, and even Adrian Peterson, can you believe it? The dude's temporary Titans running back. He even got a touchdown for us after only being on the team, 3 or 4 days, which was astonishing to say the least. But they walked in there. They did their business. They took names. They took numbers. It was exciting. Even if you aren't a Titans fan, go back and listen to it. Go to YouTube and look up Tennessee versus LA. You can see like 10 or 12, 15 minutes. It'll actually pretty much play the entire game for you. But you can see it was just, the defense was just dominating. It was amazing. And I got to tell you, that is what we want to see in our life in a defining moment. It's when we rise up. It's what are you going to do when you're faced with something and you got to make a choice? Now, unlike the story that I just shared with you, this is what can happen when we decide to, I think should just say, when we just decide to, right? When we decide to not drink and drive drunk. When we decide to go play our hearts out and put it all out there on the line. When we do decide to make the right choice, make the right decision, go to the right place, hang with the right crowd, whatever, right? Whatever it is. So let's wrap this up in a nice little bow. I guess what I'm trying to say is a defining moment defines who you are. It's as simple as that. A defining moment means that there is a moment in time that's going to define who you are as a person. Your character, your values, the traits you hold dear to you, what's important to you, what means something of importance to you. A defining moment literally just means the decision that you make right here and now at this point in time in your life is sort of defining you. In a way, it's almost your calling card. It's almost the sign that you put over your neck and sort of hang on your chest there. And it says, I am fill in the blank. I am successful. I am a failure. I am a loser. I am a winner. I am whatever, right? Whatever that term is, at that particular moment in time, that defines you. It may not necessarily define the rest of your life, and I don't believe and I don't agree with that, because I think we have a number of defining moments in our life that shapes us and molds us into who we can be, but we get to choose that and we get to decide that. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's a moment in time that defines who you are. Until next time, stay strong, guys.